Welcome to the Reservoir Dubs preview of Round 3 of the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. And we've got some crunch games this weekend as teams jostle for knockout places, or at the very least, try to avoid the dreaded relegation playoffs. Here's how they stand so far, and every point matters from here on out. Remember, it's the top four who progress, and fifth plays sixth from the opposite group in a playoff. So, let's get stuck into Group 1. First up, Crave Kieran against Nave Barrogue. Both sides are winless after 2 games, so this one's absolutely vital. Even if a quarter-final spot is a stretch, you want to finish strong enough to face the 6th-placed team from Group 2. Barrogue have had a tough start. Matches against Ballybodden and NA Fianna are no picnic. Crave's losses include an expected defeat to Lucan, but that heavy loss to Jude's will sting. Ones to watch: for Crave, Cian Derwin, ice cool on freeze and dangerous from play. For Barrogue, Nathan Kidd, worked hard, won good ball, and chipped in with scores against NA Fianna. My take: Barrogue might just shade it, unless Crave produce something special. Next, Ballybodden up against NA Fianna. Bowden's form so far: a solid win over Barrogue, followed by a narrow 4-point loss to Lucan. Nothing disastrous, but it might hint at where they are at this season. NA Fianna, on the other hand, look like they're warming up nicely. 28 scores in each of their first 2 games, and comfortable wins over Jude's and Barrogue. They should have Conor Mayhew back, and we'll hope Donal Burks had time to sharpen up during the break. Players to watch: for Bowden, Niall McMorrow, still one of their key men. For NA Fianna, I'm going for someone under the radar: Jack Maurer. 8 or 9 points from midfield and half-forward in just 2 games. Serious form. Prediction: NA Fianna to win, but Bowden will make them work. I'll say by about 5 points. And finally, in Group 1, we have Lucan against St. Jude's. Jude's look sharper this season, even without Danny Sutcliffe. A battling loss to NA Fianna and a big win over Crayarb will boost them. Lucan are tidy as ever, wins over Crayarb and Bowden, and Paul Crummy is in scoring form. Ones to watch: Ben Coffey for Lucan, Callum Graham for Jude's. Prediction: Lucan by 5+, but if it's tighter, Jude's revival is real. Over to Group 2 now, and there's a big one here between St. Vincent's and Crokes. Both sides are unbeaten, both scoring heavily, and it's being streamed. Which probably means we'll get a tight, cagey affair. Crokes are tipped by many to dethrone NA Fianna, but injuries are a concern. Dara Purcell has been named on the bench in the last 2 rounds and might be back after the 3-week break, as is Davy Crowe after a long injury layoff. It'd be great to see him back on the pitch. David Purcell is still out with injury. Hopefully, he'll be back sooner than later. Vincent's has Headgo back and 9 goals in 2 games, plus Derek McBride returns. No, Riane, though, and a young lad starting at centre-back who must be impressing. Key men: Curley at centre-back for Vincent's, Brendan Kenny in midfield for Crokes. Prediction: Crokes to win, and win well if they can keep Headgo quiet. The second game in Group 2 then is Bridget's against Cooler. Bridget's have impressed, pushing Crokes in round 1 and then beating Whitehall. With Cian O'Sullivan fit again, plus Dunphy, they've got scoring threats. Quarler have been disappointing, a heavy defeat to Whitehall and an 8-point loss to Vincent's. They'll hope for bodies back after the break. Ones to watch: Cian O'Sullivan for Bridget's, Conor Groke for Cooler. Prediction: Bridget's to edge it. Unless Quarler get key men back, then it could be tight. And the final game in round 3 is Whitehall Colmcille v Oliver Plunketts. Whitehall started with a good win over Cooler but then lost to Bridget's, a blow in the race for playoff spots. Dual commitments could be a factor. Oliver Plunkett's have had a really tough start to the championship with group favourites, Vincent's and Croaks, in the first 2 rounds. This is their chance to climb out of the relegation zone. Key men: Cossey for Whitehall, still pure class. Killian Hayes for O'Toole's, quick and skillful. Prediction: tough call. If O'Donnell is out, that's huge for Oliver Plunkett's. I'll just about go for Whitehall to edge it. That's your full round 3 preview for the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. We'll be back with more as the weekend unfolds. Enjoy the games.